Hello, everyone! There was a time in the early 2000s when you couldn't turn on Nickelodeon, BET, or MTV without seeing the fast-talking, charming young comedian known as Lil JJ, whose real name is James Charles Lewis III, lighting up every screen he touched. With his contagious smile, quick wit, and energy that could fill a room, Lil JJ became one of the youngest comedy sensations of his generation, earning comparisons to a young Eddie Murphy and Chris Tucker before he was even out of high school. But somewhere between the laughter, the fame, and the bright lights, something went wrong. And the young star who once seemed destined for Hollywood greatness vanished almost overnight. Now, years later, Lil JJ, or Jordan Lewis as he now prefers to be called, has finally broken his silence, and what he revealed about his career, his struggles, and the dark side of the entertainment world has left fans stunned and heartbroken. To understand the weight of his story, you have to go back to where it all began. Little Rock, Arkansas, where a young boy with a big dream used laughter as both an escape and a weapon. Jordan wasn't born into fame or privilege. He grew up in a modest household, surrounded by love but aware of life's challenges. From a young age, he was drawn to comedy, not just as entertainment, but as survival. His humor made people listen, and in a world that often ignores young black boys, that was his superpower. By the time he was 13, Lil JJ was already making waves in local talent shows, eventually earning national attention when he won the BET Comedy Talent Search, Coming to the Stage. That win changed everything. It catapulted him into a world he'd only seen on TV. Red carpets, agents, contracts, and cameras. Nickelodeon came calling soon after, offering him his own show, Just Jordan, which premiered in 2007 and made him one of the youngest black actors in television history to lead his own sitcom. For many fans, he was the new face of youthful black success, a comedian, actor, and rapper who could do it all. But behind the scenes, the pressures were immense. The expectations placed on him weren't just to be funny or talented, but to represent something bigger, to carry an entire generation's hopes on his shoulders while still being a kid. He worked non-stop, bouncing between film sets, comedy tours, and music videos, while trying to maintain the image of the cheerful, unstoppable boy everyone loved. But as Lil JJ recently revealed in a candid interview, that happy image wasn't always the truth. He said fame at such a young age came with invisible chains, pressure from executives who wanted him to fit a marketable mold, pressure from peers who envied his success, and pressure from within to never fail because one mistake could mean the end. He recalled moments of exhaustion, isolation, and confusion, realizing that while the world was laughing with him, he often went home feeling empty. The Hollywood machine doesn't care about youth or innocence. It cares about profit. And Lil JJ became another young performer caught in its gears. He admitted that as he got older, the industry began to change how it saw him. He wasn't the cute kid anymore. He was a young black man, and with that came a shift in how roles, opportunities, and expectations were presented to him. Suddenly, the same people who once promised to make him a superstar stopped returning his calls. Projects fell through, deals disappeared, and the offers dried up. In the years following the end of Just Jordan, Lil JJ tried to reinvent himself, appearing on Wild 'N Out, The Ricky Smiley Show, and a handful of independent projects. But he could feel the tide turning. Hollywood had a habit of discarding young black talent once they aged out of their marketable phase, and he was no exception. But what hurt more, he confessed, wasn't being forgotten by the industry. It was being forgotten by the fans who once adored him. He struggled to find his footing as an adult in an industry that often refuses to let young stars grow up. Behind the smiles and red carpet appearances, he battled depression, self-doubt, and the terrifying question every child star eventually faces: who am I if I'm not famous? For years, he kept those feelings buried, choosing instead to focus on his craft and quietly rebuild. He went to college at Clark Atlanta University, determined to reclaim his identity outside of Hollywood. But even in that period of growth, pain lingered. In his recent revelations, Lil JJ shared that the entertainment business had taken more from him than he ever realized: his childhood, his trust, and sometimes even his sense of purpose. He spoke of how people he thought were friends disappeared the moment the spotlight dimmed, how managers and producers who once praised him turned cold, and how fame created isolation. He even hinted at moments when he nearly walked away from everything entirely, questioning whether his dreams were ever truly his own or just what others wanted from him. The young man who once seemed invincible was, in truth, breaking inside. Yet through all the pain, there's resilience in his voice now. A determination to turn his story into something meaningful. He said that silence nearly destroyed him, that pretending everything was okay when it wasn't led him into a mental fog that took years to escape. But breaking that silence, speaking openly about his struggles, has given him a second chance. Not just at his career, but at life itself. Today, Jordan Lewis isn't the same Lil JJ we grew up watching. He's older, wiser, and far more grounded. He's spoken about finding peace through faith, family, and self-awareness. He's begun mentoring younger performers, warning them about the traps of early fame, and reminding them that success means nothing if you lose yourself in the process. Still, there's an undeniable sadness in his story. The loss of innocence, the betrayal of trust, and the painful realization that Hollywood's love is often conditional. When he said, "It's not good," he wasn't being dramatic, he was being honest. The world that once cheered for him had turned its back, and the silence that followed nearly swallowed him whole. But what's powerful is that instead of letting that darkness define him, he's chosen to shine a light on it, to tell the truth so others don't fall into the same trap. Fans who've recently rediscovered him online are shocked not only by how much he's matured, but by how candid he's become about his past. His voice carries the weight of someone who's lived through fame's highest highs and its lowest lows. He's not chasing the spotlight anymore. He's chasing peace. And maybe that's the real ending to his story. Not a tragic fall, but a transformation. He's proven that even after Hollywood forgets you, life goes on. That you can build something real beyond the applause. Still, hearing him open up about the manipulation, loneliness, and exploitation he faced is painful. It's a stark reminder that for every child star who makes it, dozens are left scarred by an industry that consumes them and moves on. Lil JJ's story isn't over, but it's changed forever. He's no longer the boy who made the world laugh. He's the man who found the courage to cry, to heal, and to speak. His silence wasn't weakness, it was survival. And now, as he tells the truth about what really happened behind the fame, fans finally understand that his disappearance wasn't about failure, it was about preservation. He had to walk away to save himself. So when you look back at those old clips of Lil JJ cracking jokes on stage or delivering punchlines with that unstoppable grin, know that behind that laughter was a young soul carrying more than any child should. And today, that same soul is standing taller than ever. Scarred, yes, but stronger, wiser, and ready to tell the world what fame really costs. Because when Lil JJ finally broke his silence, it wasn't just a confession. It was a warning, a redemption, and a reminder that even after Hollywood's lights go dark, truth still shines brighter than fame ever could. Thanks for watching.